Now at 5. After Sandy, Storm Team coverage continues.
The whole street's flooded, 5 feet deep.
We're seeing just how bad the damage is, and many questions remain about power, the roads, and the rails.
Electricity was out and all our phones were dead.
News 4 New York is live. Storm Team 4's coverage at 5 starts now.
And welcome back to News 4's continuous coverage of the aftermath of Sandy. It is 5 o'clock now. I'm Sheba Russell.
And I'm Tom Yamas. It will be days, probably weeks, before we know the full extent of the damage of this storm. Here's what we do know right now. The storm is being blamed for at least 22 deaths, including 10 in New York City. Those numbers are expected to climb as rescue and recovery efforts continue into the evening.
President Obama will travel to New Jersey tomorrow afternoon to tour areas along the coastline ravaged by the storm. The president will also meet with first responders to thank them for rescuing residents stranded along the Jersey shore.
Also in New Jersey, Jersey City officials are ordering drivers to stay off the roads to make way for work crews and emergency vehicles. To help with that, the city has issued a business curfew requiring stores and businesses to remain closed between 7 o'clock tonight and 7 tomorrow morning. And these pictures provide perhaps the most startling view that we have seen so far of the coast of New Jersey. Just absolutely unbelievable.
You can see some boats just ripped apart there in the marina, boats just colliding together. This is near Atlantic City. We have seen a number of aerial pictures coming to us from the coast of New Jersey, from Atlantic County, from Cape May, from Seaside Heights, and the story is the same. Unbelievable that this is our home, this is our coastline, that these homes are now surrounded by water, that they are surrounded by sand, completely destroyed, in many cases completely ripped to shreds. Entire
homes, entire neighborhoods underwater tonight, and it's going to be a while before that water gets out. And you can see even people who have luxury crafts as well, completely destroyed, and all that beach sand, it's going to have to be moved. It's now in people's living rooms and bedrooms. All that structural damage to those homes. It's going to take a long time for those coastal communities to recover. We're going to move farther north now to Little Ferry, New Jersey, a community really caught off guard when a berm at the Hackensack River just broke, and forcing a number of residents to flee their homes. They had not expected this at all. They say the last time floodwaters came into their neighborhood was in the 90s, and even then it was just a few inches of water. So this morning the rescue operation began. It continues this afternoon. Dozens of residents being evacuated one by one. The National Guard helping out there as well, and we've been getting a real good look as to what's been going on there with the evacuations from our Pat Battle, who has been reporting from Little Ferry, New Jersey for us. And she says the evacuations are continuing at this hour. We focused a lot of our reporting on the Jersey Shore because it was hit so hard. Seaside Heights, one of those areas, not just a boardwalk, not just a place for fun and tourism, it's also home to many people. Bryn Gingras and Brian Thompson, our crews there, have been working over the last 2 days tirelessly. Bryn, what can you tell us right now? I know there's some people essentially trapped because there's no power. They can't drink the tap water. Are there resources, anything for them to kind of hold on for the next few days?
Well, yeah, like I said, Tom, in the last hit, we're really sharing resources at this point, and it seems like everyone is making it out okay. But I do want to mention that the National Guard has been here. Town officials have been here. They are making sure that people who don't think they're going to be able to sustain a few more days of this are getting off the island. So the access is there. We're showing you aerials of the devastation along the Jersey Shore, and man, it is pretty unbelievable. We walked along it earlier this afternoon, and the Bun House Pier that you mentioned, Tom, so many people like to go on that roller coaster and play the rides along the boardwalk. Well, half of it was in the sea. The boardwalk ripped apart. There in the north part of Seaside Heights, that boardwalk was just installed last year. I was told people like to go to concerts. It was such a fun place to be this past summer, and now they're going to have to rebuild again, surely going to cost a few $1 million, and that's really the point point here, is these guys are going to have a lot of work to do. I want to, if we come back here live to the pictures here, I want to show you how people are still continuing to try to get around on this part of the island. If we zoom in, you can see there are people walking with their suitcases. Presumably, they're heading a little bit closer to the ocean. That's because there's a lot more people up there. They've sort of banded together to because there's less flooding. So there's people making fires, there's people eating, and there's places that people can go to sort of seek shelter for this night as it is getting kind of cold outside. If we can actually pan down, I want to show you the water, because if you remember this morning, this water, there was no blacktop. So this water has greatly receded, which is such good news. And that's the reason people are able to get around quite a bit right now and help each other out. Again, the National Guard coming in. You just saw a police car go by. Everyone is sort of helping out and getting access to off the island if they want it. However, nobody can get on. So people who want to know what their property looks like at this point, unfortunately, you're just going to have to wait. We're hearing possibly until tomorrow, because tomorrow possibly they're going to open up the bridges, or we're going to have access to those bridges to get on and off this island. I do want to also mention we talked to a gentleman who's next door to us here at the White Pearl Hotel, and he asked us for some water, again sharing resources, and he stuck it out. He stayed in his house because he said it's on stilts. He wasn't worried during Irene. Of course, we've heard that so much, and unfortunately people got caught up in that Irene feeling and then experienced much worse devastation, but he was okay. But take a listen to why he stuck it out.
There's nothing we can do about it, really. I mean, you know, we had no place to go. You know, I got family, a brother over the bridge, but his house is small. It wouldn't be enough room, so I was like, I stuck it out last year when Irene came through and there was no problems.
This was worse, though.
Yes, it was. I will admit that. It is worse. But once the water goes down, we'll be all right.
And that is the good news. The water is starting to go down, and we're starting to feel a little bit more encouragement that things will get better here at Seaside Heights, and there'll be more help and more resources for everyone that is here. But again, that gentleman made it out okay, but his next door neighbor, he said his whole first floor was flooded. The man opened the door to his house and water just came gushing out. So that man pretty much lost his home. I'm not really sure about the second floor of that home, but he's in dire straits, definitely. But it really is pick and choose who actually is doing okay here in Seaside Heights and who isn't, but most of people here are not. I'm live here at Seaside Heights, rather. Let's go back to you.
Britt, I have to say, watching you out there reporting, here it is 5 o'clock in the evening, and several hours ago you were showing us the inside of your hotel. You couldn't even get out the front door. How are things at your hotel now? Is the generator still okay on the second floor? What's the update for you personally?
Well, our hotel is actually doing okay. You know, the hotel lobby, which I was showing to you, is on this side of the building, and that's where there is a significant amount of flooding because that's the bay area, so the water's somewhat stagnant, but the water has receded, and that's where that gentleman you just heard from lives. So the hotel first floor, it's much better. We can actually see the tiles now. We're able to move around. As far as power, we're conserving energy because, like I said, it's hard to get resources on and off the island, so we're making sure we don't use too much of that generator for when it does get dark outside. But again, we have everything we pretty much need. We're just kind of waiting it out to see what happens in the morning.
All right. And Bryn, she can't pack up and leave just yet. She's staying put for us.
Still working hard, yeah. We want to go back to New York City now. First, an update, though. We've just learned that the New York City Marathon scheduled for November 4th is still going on as planned. The New York Roadrunners just put out a statement saying they're going to work with the city to make sure they can still make that a reality. November 4th, still a couple of weeks away, so we hope that stands.